We're gonna have to find a different way to sit because last time, boy. Let's see what we can do. Over here getting down like I'm still in jiu-jitsu. All right, welcome back to Artillery Mindset and Yoga. This is part 2 of me talking about my psychedelic therapy experience. Last episode, I talked about my crazy times with shrooms, with acid. I guess I could talk about Molly a little bit because I don't know, MDMA is being used in psychedelic therapy. I never forget my first Molly high. Boy, I was getting a tattoo. I was actually getting this leg tattoo right down here by my homegirl Cake in Atlanta. Shout out to her. Shout out to Blackout Tattoos. And so I actually got the Molly from a guy that used to be at the tattoo shop a lot. I don't want to incriminate nobody. Yeah, that was a fun time working there, man. We was doing drugs and shit. And this was during the Molly Water era of Atlanta. Rest in peace, department store. I Love McConan was providing the soundtrack. Man, 2014 to 2016 Atlanta. What a time. But yeah, popped the Molly, sweating. And I was laying back. She started on the tattoo, and I had my MacBook because I was watching the movie. Well, I was actually watching Narcos, and then I started to feel it. And I closed the MacBook, closed my eyes, and through my eyelids, I could see the fan that was above us. And I'm talking to myself. I'm all like, "Yo, we is high." So I told Cake, I was like, "Hey, chill real quick. I need to sit up." So I sat up full high. I didn't feel any of the needle. I was so cool. And then I was horny too, and I'm looking down at Cake's big old titties, man. Them things beautiful. Man, Cake done lost weight, and so her titties ain't as brown as it used to be. Oh, man. Oh, I miss your titties, Cake. Oh, ain't shit. But yeah, went through the tattoo, and nobody sat me down, or I didn't do the research. I'm treated like any other drug. Boy, the come down was the worst. I felt like death for like 2 days. And it took me, I want to say it took me four times the master to come down. I did the research. I was like, all right, you gotta take like, you gotta prepare. It's like you gotta prepare before, during, and after. So I was taking, B12. I forgot what other supplement I was taking. And I would pop a B12 while, I was using it, and then afterwards. And I smoke, afterwards. And so I get that rest. I actually I put one of my exes on the Molly. It's like one time I did the Molly, and I was just so open with her. I would just tell her like so much deep stuff. And she wanted to try it. So it was like, it was her and us. We went to the movies, her and her sister split a tab, and we were watching Hateful Eight. And unfortunately, like my girlfriend, my ex, she had 8, and she ended up throwing up in the popcorn carton, a bowl, and she was all like, it felt so smooth. But yeah, did Molly in Atlanta, did Molly in Houston. It was one of the things where, I could beat another, my COVID boo. It's why I did it in front. She didn't want to do it. Her drug of choice was alcohol. And once again, I was just so open with her, all that shit. I actually had her do acid one time. It's crazy, man. And so what actually got me off Molly was I had a seizure. I ended up having I was in Atlanta, popped a Molly, was back in the Airbnb, had a seizure, in my sleep, didn't know I had a seizure, woke up and I was in a different dimension. Went downstairs in just my shorts, no shirt on, sat in front of the TV, and I tripped out the Airbnb host because he was staying there. And he ended up messaging me later, and he was like, everything all right, you know? And I was like, I don't know, I might have taken a Molly or something like that, and you know, but I'm all right now. And then like moments later, the Netflix got working for me, and I was like, hold on. And I checked, and I got a message from the Airbnb people. They're like, hey, yo, there's been a report filed or whatever. And I was like, oh snap. So I ended up beating that case, but that scared me because that was my second drug-related seizure that I had. The first one I had was a couple years before in Atlanta. I had Coke and Xans too close together. So sometimes you learn the hard way. But all right, let's get into the psychedelic therapy, because I am talking about drugs a lot. But anywho, all right, so I was interested in doing ayahuasca. I was trying to find ayahuasca retreats for veterans, and I came across this program called Heroic Hearts Project. And so I signed up, forgot about it. 3 months later, they hit me up, and they were like, hey, yo, you know, you've been approved. Would you like to go to Peru for ayahuasca? And I was like, hell yeah. So I'm getting ready for that. And, you know, you go through a screening process. You get assigned a kind of a coach. And mine was Dia Tate. And this light-skinned black chick, and the way she was talking to me, like uplifting me, because I was not in a good place. And like she was all like, I was talking about how, you know, I was artillery and the king of battle. She was like, you want me to call you king? And I'm like, oh snap, be careful now, because I had a girlfriend at the time too, and she just didn't know how to really uplift me like that. And so I ended up getting a crush on. It don't take me long to catch feelings, especially when like they're showing me interest and stuff like that. That's stuff I work through. But yeah, but anywho, so you do like a medical screen, like with a physician, and I was being totally honest with them, because you know, I didn't want nothing, you know, wrong to happen during the trip. And so I told them, you know, did they check I can't remember. No, they didn't check my records. Nah, I told them like I got diagnosed with bipolar by the VA, and that I wasn't on, at the time I was not on any meds, because when you're on this, you know, on ayahuasca, all this stuff like that, you don't want to be on they tell you not to be on SSRIs. And so I had gave up, I think I was almost a year off of Seroquel. I hated Seroquel, man. And so, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, you know, they kept that in mind. And then a few days later, or a week later, I'm actually Ubering, and the one woman from the program calls me and was like, hey, you know, got some not so great news for you. You won't be able to do ayahuasca because of the people of the tree don't feel comfortable with you having that bipolar diagnosis. And I was like, I really was in my feelings about that one, because like my life, I just was not in a good place. And I thought and this is a misconception that I had, was I thought that this was going to fix everything. And so I was like, hey, let me process this, and then I'll call you back. So I called her back, and she was like, all right, you know, I know it sucks, but we have a psilocybin retreat in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And what's funny is like when I was choosing, because you could pick your preference, and I had ayahuasca at the top, and at the very bottom was psilocybin in Puerto Vallarta, because I had done shrooms before, so I thought, oh, we're just gonna do shrooms. I'm like, all right, I'm cool. But it's funny how all that worked out. And I did not know anything about Puerto Vallarta before that. And so got everything set up. I ended up paying $500 on a payment plan, because, you know, that's the lowest amount you're allowed to pay, but you got to pay something, because I was just showing, you know, financial hardship or whatever. Because I was trying to Uber, had a lot of debt, all that stuff. And so they fly me out to Puerto Vallarta, meet with other veterans. It was cool. Then they take us to the island of Yalapa, and 60 Minutes is there. Anderson Cooper is actually at the the 60 Minutes crew. And I was like, all right, I know Anderson Cooper is gonna be there. So I ended up taking, I had a extra Red Leg, I think it was volume 1 or volume 2. Copy that, I think volume 1, copy that book. And then I had an extra Brothers Need Therapy shirt. And so I was like, I didn't want to be all up in his face, but I waited for the right opportunity. And so the opportunity came, and I was like, hey, you know, Anderson, love your work. Here, I'm an author as well as an artist. He goes to copy my book. Here is my organization, Brothers Need Therapy. And so it was cool. And so we went through the ceremony. It's funny how all this works out. I think I did 2 cups of the medicine. So it's shrooms. They, grind up, put it in there. And you actually see all this on 60 Minutes. If I can remember, I need to remember, put the link in the bio, in the description. And so took the medicine, and I'm thinking it's going to be like, just like any other shroom trip. Boy, I got shot to a different dimension. I saw a bunch of sacred geometry. Saw myself as in past lives as an Aztec king, African king, and it was so beautiful, just so beautiful. I was in heaven. I also ended up in like the white room with Morpheus, and everything that I was taught, I deconstructed. Like everything made sense, it didn't make sense. And then eventually came to, still under the influence of the medicine, I was like, I gotta find Yoda, because Star Wars was really in my algorithms. I was like, I gotta find Yoda, because he's gonna give me some more answers. And then so we went through that. Then the next night, the later night ceremony, I did the rapé, which is like tobacco that they blow up your nose to kind of clear your mind. And as soon as I did the rapé, I felt like instant regret. And I ended up puking on my guts. I think I puked up like 3 buckets. But did the medicine. I'm thinking, it's gonna be the same experience. Wrong. It was more of an inward journey. It was like beating all the negative things that I had heard, and in life, like you can't do it, you're not good enough, all that stuff. And so, like the medicine man just hugged me, and was I was thinking about my dad too, because my dad had passed a couple years prior, and he just held me, and like after, and then the ceremony was done. And after each ceremony, we have a talking circle, we talk and stuff like that. And then, so, yeah. After the first ceremony, I looked across the water, and the sun was beaming on Puerto Vallarta. And I was like, is that the promised land? So the retreat was done. It was cool. Got back to Atlanta. And the beautiful thing about the psychedelic retreat was I could sleep again. But got back to Atlanta, couldn't sleep. And I just felt stuck, and I felt like I was in this hamster wheel struggle. And then I was like, you know what? I can get off this wheel. And so I started looking up rent prices down here, and it was affordable. Like I was paying $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment in the perimeter of Atlanta, because I was an artist. I am an artist, and I was trying to, I was doing comedy. I just wanted to get to everything that was art related and comedy related. I was like, man, I can't keep doing this. And I had a bunch of debt. And I was like, you know what? I'm moving. I didn't know how it was gonna work, but I started downsizing, started planning my trip, all that. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a cross-country road trip. So I took a cross-country road trip all the way from Atlanta to LA, came back east, stopped at Joshua Tree, did those shrooms, went to Phoenix, met up with some people, and along the way I was meeting with people that I knew, family, friends. The ex-wife of one of my old homies in the army, I ended up smashing his wife while I was high on coke. Oh man, good times. She ended up offing herself later while I was down here in Puerto Vallarta. And then I actually got a Harry Potter tattoo in Phoenix the day before I crossed the border. And then I crossed the border at Nogales, drove all the way down to Puerto Vallarta. Got to Puerto Vallarta, and I end up I was on the apps because I was trying to get some coochie, man. So I was on the apps. I met this white chick, and she was all like, yeah, I forgot. I think I told her my story, how I originally decided to move down here about the psychedelic therapy. And she was a firefighter, and she was like, oh yeah. I'm familiar with one of I think it was the Siren Project, because they do those retreats for first responders. And so she was like, yeah. And she was like, I do Bufo. And I was like, oh man, I had heard about Bufo. And she was like, I gotta connect. And so she ended up hooking me up with the connect. And so the first time I did Bufo, it's funny because I did the rapé. I'm throwing up a little bit. Did I throw up? I can't remember. But I was scared. I was so scared because it was kind of a shady. It felt a little bit shady because he was some random people that I had never met before, and went in there. And after I did the rapé, I told the white dude, I was like, hey, yo, because it's the shaman, it's a medicine man, he's a Mexican dude, and then the guide. And so I told him, I was like, hey, I'm scared. And he was like, hey, that's just ego. So I get through it. And so then what you're supposed to do is, like, the shaman will come in, have the pipe, and then he'll heat it up. And you take it in and you inhale. And as you're inhaling, he's counting down to 10. And so you're breathing in, breathing out. Yeah, no, you're breathing in, breathing it in. You're supposed to take it into your gut, and you hold it. And then you count down 10, 9, or in Spanish is 10, 9, and all the way down to 1, uno. And then you exhale. And as soon as you exhale, I was out. Like, I'm falling back. Shoot you straight to God. And that first time it was like an exorcism for me. And I'm throwing it up. But I'm just seeing so much. And I really, really can't. It's one of the things you gotta experience. To kind of not go in. I might do other videos about going in depth about it, but I would say watch YouTube videos about it. Mike Tyson, I remember hearing him talk about it. And hold on. Excuse me. And so I ended up doing Bufo 4 times in the course of like a week. And each experience is different. And you really, really confront yourself. It's a straight shot to God, and you're getting downloads. And then so after doing Bufo for 4 times, I was, hey, if you want to go deeper, we suggest you do Kambo. And so and one thing I liked about doing Bufo, it was only like $75 a session. Not no crazy amount and stuff like that. Yeah, 1,500 pesos, something like that. And so, but they were like, hey, if you want to go deeper, you should do Kambo. So Kambo is just another toad venom. I think a venom, whatever, secretes something off the toad. And so went in, and they make burn marks. I did 4 sessions, so it was like like 4 or 5 burn marks on each shoulder and then on the ankle, and they put it on there, and you have a bunch of water, and for like an hour it's just suck. You're just purging. You're just purging. You want to fast beforehand, and you're getting a bio. I think it's something from your liver, like stuff. Basically, whatever doesn't suit you, you're getting it out. And so I did the Kambo, 4 sessions of that. I ended up doing another session of Bufo, and I could tell instantly, like I went so further down the rabbit hole. And then they were like, hey, ayahuasca. So I did ayahuasca at this one ranch. I ended up doing 2 cups. The first cup, I was like, really didn't feel anything. Did a second cup, went through energy cleanse, and about 30 minutes afterwards, I was like, man, this ain't shit. And then God punched me in a different dimension. I saw all beautiful art. I had an argument with God. And yeah, just getting more in tune with going inward, in tune with myself. And then I did Bufo again, number 7, going deeper. It just, every time it's like you're going, 2 things about these. It's like deeper down the rabbit hole. And then these 2, I feel like the more parts of me are coming together. And then I did ayahuasca again, Saturday, or last Saturday, whatever that was. And it was different. It was like, it was a more intensified version of like that second session with psilocybin. It was more inward, a lot of inner dialogue. I was asking God a lot of things. At the end of it, I was like, I don't know shit. And then so, I actually, before I took the medicine, I told God, I was like, I want to meet the devil tonight. And it was funny because the guy that was sitting next to me, he was going through it, and I looked up and I was like, he looks like the devil right now. And yeah, it was a beautiful experience. Every time I do the rapé now, it's like I'm getting better with it, and I'm just looking forward to keep going down this rabbit hole of healing. I feel like I've healed a lot. I feel lighter. One big thing I want to definitely, I'm letting go of is my anger and my teeth grinding at night. So once the teeth grinding goes away, I'm like, oh my goodness. But I'm gonna close out with this by saying I've had to learn to not have expectations with the medicine, to respect the medicine, and then also know that the medicine give you what you need. And it's not for everybody, but I feel like it can help so many people, especially veterans, or just anybody dealing with a lot of trauma. So I think that's it. If you got any questions, concerns, complaints, gripes, Yelp reviews, anything about psychedelic therapy, or my experience with it, hit me up in the comments. So that's been a wonderful talk, and y'all be great. I'm out. Oh man, I thought I was gonna shoot more videos today, but I think that is it for now.